Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Hello everybody. In this recording we are going to resume our lessons regarding MRCPCH Clinical Exam, and in this recording we are going to start with growth and development station, and that's based on the request of many of our dear colleagues. So it's a bit difficult if you are preparing for the exam for the first time and you are studying this station, because if you are going to study for growth and development from different books, different resources, you will find difficulty. You will think that something very difficult to gather all the data and to apply on the baby or the kid. So that's why you have to be try to be dependent on concise, single, solitary source, which is at the point, because you are going to memorize it, so it will not be acceptable to be confused or mix them up, the milestones, because it's mainly based on your knowledge and awareness about each age, what is the skill this baby can demonstrate. And if you are not memorizing very well, so the final result will not be accurate. So this station is 9 minutes, 4 minutes before you log in. So before you log in, you should be aware about what's waiting for you inside. Most of babies in this station will be, most of them will be age of 2 to 5 years old. Very difficult to bring a patient or a baby who's less than this, but the trick that maybe he's 3 years, but he will not be able to demonstrate the skills in which is supposed to be in this age. So maybe skills of 1 year or 1.5 or 2 years even. So this is the trick, okay? And usually it's not uncommon that they may bring a healthy child who does not have any delay, okay? And in such case he may not give you the proper age, or even if he gave you the age. So don't hesitate if you found the baby is able to demonstrate the skills which is fitting this age, okay? So don't hesitate to say that. Let's say he told you he's 5 years old, please assess his fine motor skills. So, and you assist, and it seems that he's doing what's supposed to be. So don't try to fake it. Don't think that he's confusing you, or maybe he was not clear in my exam. So it's very important to know that very well. So what are the tasks which I'm going to be asked to assess, or the skills? Okay, so you have to assess in this station, which is growth and development. You have to assess motor, okay, skills, and motor, including fine motor and growth motor. We have social development, and we have speech and hearing, okay? So the importance, 80 to 90% will be for the fine motor, and then growth motor, and then speech and hearing, okay? So to be honest, social development usually is not the rule, okay? And I can guarantee that, as I mentioned, 80 to 90% fine motor, or sometimes fine and gross motor. What kind of cases or kids I'm going to assess? So most likely Down syndrome. Why Down syndrome? They are cooperative most of the time. There are a lot of Down syndromes in any center. They are using them as multitasks, because Down syndrome, they may use him as cardiovascular station as well. So they have like double usage of this kind of cases. The third thing I have to take in consideration, maybe a lot of candidates, they will be anxious and afraid that the kid or the baby may not be cooperative. Don't worry, because the examiner, he has the experience to know if this kid is able to continue this station, whatever the level of cooperation or not, and if he felt at any time that this patient is like hopeless to continue with, he's not cooperative at all, he's going to change with another really cooperative kid. And he's taking this in consideration. But you should not give in, you should not just stop and say he's not cooperative. Never do this. You will do your best to show the examiner that you are doing all tricks to persuade the kid to continue the station. Don't worry, there is a possibility that he will not be cooperative, but that will be taken in consideration by the examiner. So please don't panic. Okay, so let's assume that you are logging in now to the room. You will have like screening look to the environment and to the kid. It's very important. You will get some data from this log. First, if the baby has a feature suggestive of Down syndrome, that will be helpful. At least you know that there will be some delay in the motor or whatever the task, and you will be asked and you are going to be evaluated for your clinical assessment based on this log, if you notice that he is having features suggestive of Down syndrome or not. Okay, so you will first also you get use of this, because sometimes in between each candidate the kid is still using the toys or crayon or whatever available. You have to start from the end of the previous candidate. Let's say that last thing baby was doing, he was writing, and he was involved in that. Like the previous candidate, he left, and the baby still was holding the crayon and doing some drawing. Okay, so please don't be like strict to a certain approach in such case and say, okay, I used to start with the cubes. Okay, then to convince the baby to leave the crying which he's involved in and to start something else, and still he's not familiar with you, because the previous candidate, he spent with him 7 minutes in which he was able to approach rapport and cooperation and interaction. So you are new to him. Maybe he will have like he will be anxious, he will not cooperate with you, especially if you just log in and you ask him to do something different or something why you order him. Okay, so please take care of these few things, because it will help you inside though. So you log in, you have this log, you listen very well to the statement, okay, and listen very well to the age mentioned. So let's assume that he started by telling this is 4-year-old, following up in the OBD, and he's please assess. Okay, please assess his motor or fine motor or gross motor, whatever. Okay, so fine motor, he's holding the crayon, so I will start from this point. Gross motor, and he was catching ball, so you start from this point. Okay, you greet the parents, ask for permission from them to play with him, to enjoy time with him, and please, in this station you have to show to the examiner that you are coming to entertain this kid and to spend good happy time with him. You want to cheer him up, you want to do your best to show that to the examiner. You have to praise him very well, okay? And this station, as I mentioned, they are caring about this maybe more than they care about your accuracy of memorizing the milestones. Agree? So greeting, asking for permission, and then you will have like this log. Based on that, you are going to tell the examiner that the same assessment like general examination, he's not stressed, he's doing whatever, if he's playing or sitting, or you would describe the scene, and is he having dysmorphic features or not? Like if he looks like Down syndrome and you don't have doubt about that, so you will say that he's having some features suggestive of Down syndrome, but I would like to search for more features at the end of my exam, for example. And he looks below weight or underweight, but I would like to put him on the same like what I used to do in a different station. And then you will start with the kid, try to be familiar, try to speak in a very simple language. It's very important in this station to be aware about what words to use. It has to be clear, okay? And if you think, for those who are not speaking the same native language of the babies, they have to ask. Don't try to waste your time. Ask for interpreter once you log in, if you have any doubt that this baby is not going to be cooperative with you because language barrier. Okay, and they are going to provide you with. So because that will put too much stress on you if time is running and you try to break that language barrier instead of the rest of skills which you have to let the examiner see. Okay, so as I mentioned, if he's doing something, so start from this task. The challenge here that they may ask you to assess the age of like 4-year-old, but he's showing the skills of age of 1.5 or 1-year-old. So because most of us, once they hear, some trainers in for this station especially, when they say assess like 5-year-old kid for fine motor, they advise to start with the age. Let's say he's 5 years, so I'm going to start with 5 years. And please don't. Okay, so if he's Down syndrome, he is expected to have some sort of delay. Okay, so if you started with the skill of that age and it sounds difficult for the candidate, for the patient or for the baby to demonstrate, it will not be a good start with him. He will feel that he's unable to do, and he may not continue with you. He will feel desperate, and I don't advise to do that. So start like 1 or 2 years earlier to the age given. So if he's 4 years, I will start the scales of 2 years, if he's 5 years instead of 3 years, and see from that. So what I'm going to do, so I started with the skills of 2 years earlier. Let's say he's 5 years old. 2 years earlier, he was able to do. He was able to do confidently. So I have to skip to he was able to do 3 years. I'm going to check 4 years. Okay, if he's able to do so, you will keep challenging him till you reach the age or the skill of the certain age which he's not able to do. It's not the end. If he's not able to do, you have to give him a second try. And please keep encouraging him, okay, raising him. You should not stop encouraging the baby during the full station. They like that, okay? Encouraging, clap your hands like this, motivate him. It's very important, okay? So I'm going to ask him to do, and that's it. Maybe he will not be able to understand. So what usually I do the skill first in front of him. So let's say I'm starting with the cubes, okay? So I'm asking him to, usually the cubes is starting with building tower, okay? But you have to be aware about your approach. The age, I have approach for less than 2 years, and I have approach for more than 2 years. And usually I will know that from the cubes. So I give the baby a cube. Let's say they said that he's 3 years old. I give him a cube, and I will check what he's going to do with the cube, okay? Before even I ask him to do, okay, I will give him a cube. So if he's holding the cube and trying to do mouthing, okay, so he's unlikely to be more than 1 year. I'm talking about 6 months. If he took the cube and he just threw it, so I'm talking about like 10 months, 11 months. If he's doing casting, banging, so he banging of the cubes, I'm talking about 10 months. Okay, if he's transferring the cube from one hand to another, I'm talking about 7 months. Okay, casting 8 to 9 months. Okay, so I will have idea when I give him the cube if he's a kind of person who's going to show skills of less than 2 years or more than 2 years. Okay, then still I'm confused. I will ask him to build tower. I will take cubes myself and demonstrate by building a tower of, like, let's say 10 cubes, and ask him to do the same. So if he's not able to build even 2 cubes, okay, so above each other, so he's not likely to be reaching 2 years, okay? So if he's able to do 3 cubes, he's 1.5 years. And you have to refer back to your source. I'm going to put very concise source for the milestones, which is very helpful. I myself consider it the golden source for this station. So I will demonstrate the skill. I will ask him in a very clear language, simple language, with encouragement, and with motivation. I'm going to ask him to build the cubes and show, and if he managed to, I have to praise and say well done, perfect, but for sure in the same language which the baby is going to understand. Okay, so this is for fine motor. I start with the skill he's doing, if he's doing. If not, I'm going to start with the cubes. Usually they like the cubes. Because why the cubes? Because it will help me to know if he's below 2 years or more than 2 years. There is a very important thing which is maybe not related to the actual steps you are taking, but it will make a difference with you. Usually the kid is sitting on the ground. You have a small table, short table, you are going to assess the task on, and the toys and all tools are in the corner of the room. So whether you go and collect for each task separately and bring to the area, or you check all the skills you are going to assess based on the the task, so you bring the tools needed. The problem, if you are not able to hide the tools, you will be in a trouble, because if the kid notes that you have a lot of tools with you in front of his vision, vision field, so he's going to be distracted, especially that he may like to draw the crayons. So whatever you are asking him to do, he will prefer certain thing which is available in front of his eyes. So if you are going to bring the tools needed to be used for assessment of age, if you want to bring them, try to hide them, whether behind your back or below the table. Or you go and collect each tool separately, but I don't advise, because you are going also to distract the kid. Once he's got involved with you, you will leave him and go, and then leave and go. I don't advise. So you collect the tools, but you hide them, and show for each skill you are going to demonstrate. You show the baby, you finish, you hide, and start showing the other tool. Is that clear? I hope so. So I'm not going to recite the milestones because it will be available in the paper I'm going to share on the page. Fine motor, as we said, how can we assess? Don't try to make it sophisticated and complicated. Cubes, and in the cubes there are a lot of skills. Tower, we have train, bridge for 3-year-old. Then in 4 years we have steps, and in 5 years we have steps, but 6 big steps in age of 4 years, and 10 big steps in 5 years. What else? As I mentioned, for those who are below 2 years, they are going to demonstrate different skills with the cubes, and I'm going to comment if he's reaching for the cube for a month, is he grasping it like this. So it's 6 months, mouthing takes 6 months, transferring one object from another, so I'm talking about 7 months, casting 8 months, banging 8-9 months, like that, throwing 1 year, object permanence. Let him see the cube, and then I'm hiding and see if he's going to check for the site I hide it, where is he going to notice that or not. So this is for the cubes, and then I have the other skill, which is the crayon. I'm going to use for shapes like circle, first the scribbling, then lines, horizontal, vertical line, we have circle, we have triangle, we have square, so I have to know each shape. Is he going to be able to assess or not? Then I have also some letters he will be able to illustrate, okay, like X, O, okay, at the age of 2, and then H at the age of 3, and then the other letters. You will revise the source and know. Then draw man test, which is very important, okay. You will not ask him to draw a man, you will ask him to, you will specify somebody who is familiar to him. Let's say draw your mom, draw your dad, something like that, okay. And after the crayon and paper, you will have scissor, which is starting from the age, scissors starting from the age of 3 years, okay. And we have threads and beads, okay, we're talking about 4 years, 5 years. And what else? I have this board with sometimes puzzle I can use at earlier age, or the shapes in the board, okay. So the skills I have to be aware about. Cubes are very important, crayon and paper is very important. Sometimes time will not allow you to show or demonstrate all the skills, but if you skipped something like cubes or crayon and paper and you demonstrated other skills, that will give a bad impression. Why? As I mentioned, examiner, they are not fully aware about the other skills. Usually the time allows only for few skills, especially if you had troubles with demonstration of the skills, okay. Try to start with the simple task and progress according to the response of the baby. This is for the fine motor. Growth motor, again, if you notice that the baby, you started your task while he's standing, you describe that. He's walking, describe that. You notice that he's running, okay. Then you will follow according to the paper I'm going to share, like tiptoeing, running, tandem walk, okay. So each skill has age, and as I mentioned, you start like with 2 years earlier to the age given, and you progress with the age according to the ability of the kid to demonstrate till he's unable. You ask him to repeat to confirm that he's unable, because this is his ability, and then you will reach conclusion. Okay, so what skills you show in the growth motor? You have running, walking, jumping, skipping, hip hopping. So this is all about using of legs, okay. And then what else? We have ball, okay. He's receiving ball, how he's receiving, he's throwing ball, okay, bouncing. So you will find also the milestones. So skills he's able to demonstrate with the ball, okay. What is stairs? And in stairs specifically, you will not be able to demonstrate because there will be no steps in the exam. So usually you have to ask in this assessment, ask the mother, okay. If you found steps, which I don't think so, sometimes there will be 2 or 3 steps sometimes available, but if not available, you are going to ask, and as I mentioned, ask in a clear language for the mother even, okay. And then the last thing, the last skill, which is specifically starting from age of 3, is using of tricycle, okay. It's very important. This is for fine motor and growth motor. So for age of less than 2 years, or even less than 1 year specifically, there's error of estimation of age acceptable of around 2 to 3 months. For age of more than 2 years, there is error range of around 6 months, okay. So if you said he's fitting the age of 2.5 years and he's 3 years, it's okay, no problem. Sometimes you have to give estimation because he's demonstrating certain skills of age of 2 years and certain skills of age of 2.5. But in such case, you have to take, even if he's able to demonstrate one skill of higher age and the other in this age, give estimate for the higher age, okay? So how can you present? Finally, you will say that today I examined the name, and you have to memorize the name very well, okay? Who's having some features suggestive of Down syndrome, for example, in the form of blah 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 blah. And he was able to demonstrate, and then you say the skill. He was able to demonstrate. He was not able to demonstrate. Don't say that he cannot do, because maybe it's your problem. You're not able to let him show this skill, but one candidate before you, he was able to. And by the way, if you're not the examiner still insisting that you demonstrate a certain skill, be sure that one candidate before you, he was able to demonstrate. That's why the examiner is insisting for this skill, and that will give you less mark, because if it's something which is comparable, if different candidate was able to demonstrate and you failed to demonstrate, it will give a good impression for him and bad impression for you. So you do your best to demonstrate the skill, to show the examiner that you are cooperative, you are clear in usage of language, okay, and you are encouraging, supporting, and praising the kid, okay. What are the difficulties? I mentioned the cooperation of the kid himself, okay, and that will be taken in consideration by the examiner, that you are not memorizing the skills very well, and you are confusing things, mixing up with the milestones. You are not memorizing very well, so that will show that you are not confident. What other things? That you are distracting the kid by you are not trying to clear the environment after each demonstration of skill, so he is going to be distracted. You are not using proper language which is understood by the kid or even the mother. What else? That you rush to take history for the skill instead of trying to demonstrate the skill, okay. And if you are going to ask for history, as I mentioned, do your best. If you think that time is running, so you have to ask for permission to ask. If time is over, you have to ask to show the examiner that you know what you were supposed to ask. So you say, I was not able to assess something, the skill, as he was not able to show, and I didn't get time to ask the mother. At least you have to show the examiner that you know what you should have done. And finally, your conclusion. So he's able to demonstrate, he was not able to demonstrate. So my final conclusion that blah 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 blah. And what do you want to do for him? I would like to do full motor or full developmental assessment for the other sectors, and multidisciplinary team including school nurse, including neurology if there is any neurological problem, all this play therapist, all this, okay. It's very important to note if there is something like interfering with the quality of skill of the kid. For example, he's having a hemiplegia, so you have to pick it. How can you pick it up? If you are going to show him, like I'm giving him the cube, try to let him take it with one hand and try to repeat the same action with the other hand, okay. That will help you to know the dominance, and if the patient is having any hemiplegia, if he's having tremors, try to pick them up, okay. This is regarding fine motor and gross motor. For the remaining speech and hearing, okay, it's very easy approach. Again, you have to be aware about what you are going to ask. There are like approach. you greet him, and then you ask him for his name, if he's able to tell full name, like a triple name, so that gives you indicator for a certain age. If he's able to tell only single name, his name, so that indicates one age, 1.5 or 1 year. Okay, and then what's his age clearly. Okay, what's his sex, is he male or female? Okay, address. Okay, and then if he's able to recite like song or so again, so in speech, if he's able to recite song, that as I mentioned, and if he is able to tell story, so all these are informative to you. Okay, if he's able to indicate his nose, where's his nose, where's his ears, his mouth, so all these things in the area of speech and hearing. Okay, it's easy, not common in exam, but it's easy, and usually sometimes they ask you to assess the fine motor with speech, then you try to assess both together in the same time. Okay, so while you are giving him the cube, okay, you can involve him in a side talk while you are doing the skill. It's not the rule, but at least try to get benefit all the time, because speech is something is very easy, and I don't think that it will be a single task, and even if you can fill the time with these questions, that will be very helpful, speech and hearing. If you have any questions, I will be happy to answer. Okay, as I mentioned again, the main problem, if you are not memorizing and if you don't have a good concise source for that, because if you want to collect all the sources for growth and development, you are going to make it very difficult for you. And as I mentioned, the examiner himself is not aware about all the milestones. And make it easy for you. Think about that you are enjoying your time with this kid for a few minutes, and show the examiner to what extent you are entertaining this kid, and you are involving him, this kid, in a very amusing and something entertaining, as I mentioned. Thank you for listening. If you have any questions, any feedbacks, I will be happy to receive, and we'll see you in the next recording, inshallah. And I'd like to know if you want to start with which station next recording. And okay, goodbye. Thank you.